Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of Insights with C5 Insight, and we are going to tackle the topic that I think has been talked about a lot in organizations in the last little while since this change happened, and it's what we've aptly mentioned perhaps is the demise of Advanced Find, I guess is what we're calling it, right? So we've seen some mega changes with respect to what's happening with the Advanced Find function. In some scenarios, it's actually gone, and you can't see it unless you know where to look, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. But this is a pretty fundamental change. I knew that it was. We all knew it was coming. It was in preview for a while, and even though I knew it was coming when it happened, I felt a little hole in my heart when it happened.
Well, it's been with us since version 4. At least I know. That's when I picked
It's
up.
always been our go-to, right?
Yeah. So what are you seeing as some of the challenges? Because we've got customers of ours. We use it. I use it regularly. What are you seeing as some of the challenges people are having now that it's different? We'll call it.
So I know in some organizations, folks are used to going to Advanced Find to do things like run workflows. Previously, you couldn't run workflows unless you were in Advanced Find because they weren't ready for the UI, the new UI. So we had some folks call us and say, "Hey, like where I can't get to my workflows," and so that was a little jarring for them. Of course, you can get to them under your flow button. That allows you to get to your workflows, your standard workflows. That was one of the experiences that I had.
The biggest one I heard is how people will be on, like you're on screen now with the accounts pulled up, and they'd say, I need to go check all the records in this other related table, this obscure table that's maybe not on the UI, right? It's a related table to accounts or contacts. And you would just inherently go to Advanced Find, set the look for to whatever you're looking for, and away you go. And it was you used the word jarring. I've heard two people use that term. That's exactly what it is. Like it brings you to a standstill. How do I go and find the data if I can't see it in the UI and I can't go to that table and then use the advanced filtering? What do I do now? And so
Yeah.
that's a big roadblock for people. The good news is, as a sneak peek here, we're going to show you how you can actually get back to that. But yeah, that was a big one for folks, especially initially when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And just to, even though we know that it's been in preview, but we're in this every day, all day long. But some system admins at different orgs, they don't have time to keep up with wave releases and things like this because they've got a day job. And they might have just been assigned, hey, you're our best super user, so now you're the system admin. And they don't go to the Learn docs and following all these things. And then all of a sudden it's just gone one morning when they log in and they have no idea what's happened. So, perhaps there could have been a moment of when the funnel was there, but it didn't have a function associated with it, but instead it just had a tooltip that might pop up to say, do this instead.
Right.
Yeah, good call.
Hey, nice idea.
Yeah, that's a great call.
No one asks me. It's fine.
I think those
put that into the ideas, Patrick.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Everybody go upvote it. Yeah.
So let's talk a minute, because we were chatting before we got kicked off here about some of the features. So, and some of this was news to me even as we joined today's call. I knew that we had some settings available to us in the admin portal, but you can do a lot more than I realized in there. So, Paige, you're driving. Maybe you want to take the lead on that.
Sure.
Go from there.
So this is in, if we're in the Power Platform Admin Center. So just let me back it up a step just so people are familiar. So you have your environments. Once you go into your environment, if you then go into settings, and the way that we got here is we did not preview, but
features.
Yeah.
But it's actually under search, so search would have gotten you there as well.
Now it's all on the features page, but you can't choose features. You have to choose one of the subheadings to get to this page.
Yeah, sadly true.
Or nowhere to drill down.
Yes. So this setting is when this is turned on. So this is your Dataverse search. And then we also have this new setting here for advanced find options. So these are the two settings that determine how the advanced find is displayed or not displayed, as the case were.
So it says there modern advanced find in model driven apps. So what we're seeing in that org that we were in, that funnel's not there. That is the modern approach. They're now pushing us to the advanced filters and doing it that way. But if we toggle that off here, this setting off here, and save that change, we were blown away at how fast, how responsive this was. So Paige has made that change. She saved it. Do a hard refresh here. And when the page reloads, we're going to notice that our funnel is back, which is pretty great.
Here we are up here.
So that's a great idea. Now, some would argue not to do that because, we all know that Microsoft continues to push new enhancements and new evolutions through the system, and we should be getting used to the new way of doing things. And we counsel our admins a lot on that, right? When you want to go to settings, don't go to the gear and advanced options, go to the admin.powerplatform.com, start there. And if it's still dependent on an old UI function, it'll take you there natively. It'll push you to that environment. So some people might say, maybe you shouldn't turn advanced find on and force users to deal with the new way of doing things, which is your edit filters and your advanced filtering. Fair. I think that's a fair comment.
And if you were to do that, if you were to make that decision that you didn't want to turn that on, something that Patrick showed us at the beginning when we were discussing earlier was here at the search.
See, it's not there because you turned off the modern experience.
That is true.
Yeah. So in order to get that feature that you're talking about, I guess we're going to have to go and turn that back on.
Right here.
Yeah.
So it's a either or situation.
Yeah. I like seeing your search history. I'm glad you don't have my holiday present on there that you've been looking for.
No comment.
And there it is at the bottom.
Now notice here, now you have this. And Malcolm's example was something that's not in the UI. So opportunity line's rarely something that's in the UI because of the way you get to it through another record. But as you can see, this allows you to get to that other table.
And so it's just loading whatever queries used for that opportunity product inline edit view, which apparently has some issues. If you're watching, you notice those red boxes. That's a little weird. But it's loading the criteria of that view, and then you can tailor it from there. So you can effectively get back to what the example I was using of people. That was one complaint I heard from 3 different customers was I have these things that I like to look up, but I can't get to them and I need to find them. How do I do that? And so this is a good way of kind of balancing both worlds. What I was talking about in terms of some organizations would say, let's force them to use a new tool, but the use example that I was using, you couldn't really do, but now you can if you use that search method and do the advanced filters. So you're kind of leveraging both options there.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, that flyout where you're identifying the table you want to do the advanced filter on is the exact same as the what's it look for? Is that the box in the old advanced find?
Right.
Cool. Good.
Very cool. How about you had Paige, you had called out what they've done now for when you're looking here, if you have a custom view, I think we have one in here under accounts, right? And so what they've done to set that up now, so it no longer divides system and user views, right? It's only showing you a little icon, person icon, or a keyhole.
Yeah, and back on our admin center, something that you can turn on and off. We were discussing, we're not sure why you would not allow users to do this, but now you have the ability to allow users to hide system views. And I don't know about folks watching, but for anybody who works with organizations that are big fans of using system views, which we prefer, by the way, side note.
Yes.
Sometimes you not all your users want to see all those views. So this allows your users to be able to hide them, but still get to them if they need to.
Yeah, this to me is a huge benefit. The
Yeah.
ability to come in here and filter with manage and save views on the bottom, and having the ability to say, I want to see these ones, I don't want to see those. But yeah, so if we click that, it's going to open a little flyout, and now we can sort of say, I don't want to see these ones. So
Oh,
to your
I'm gonna
point,
hide
one of the two of you commented that, we're not really sure a scenario where, and I don't know either, but I think if I'm thinking about some organizations, that might be a feature you don't want to enable, because you would rather them say, let's use the system views, which to your point, that's what we'd prefer. But if you have the ability to hide them, what users might end up doing is hiding them and then going and creating their own views that actually replicate what's there. And
yeah,
then you end
good
up with
point.
this
Yeah.
overhead, right?
That is a good point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. In
and I
case
don't
they
know.
forgot that they had hidden it at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's a simple change, like they wanted an extra column on there, and instead of allowing them to hide it and create their own, they're saying, no, we want to hear about that, we want to add that. Now
Yeah.
you get an enterprise scenario where you've got lots of users, everybody's got their own preferences, you can't accommodate every single request, but it might be a way of funneling some of that support and request stuff into a single channel.
Yeah, and I noticed you're using the ellipsis there, Paige, to do the hide and show. Of course, you can just do that from the left-hand column and click the eyeball icon too when you're over on the other side
on the view list.
Yeah, right there. Just go to the left. Yeah, that.
Wait.
But you'd have to know that it's there because there's no visual indicator unless you just happen to mouse over it and have it appear, kind of like the selection circles with check mark on the views.
Yeah. Yes.
I do appreciate that the empty circle now appears in the header row of views.
Yes.
To at least say
this
is a column. Indicator. It's not just extra white space here. So
yeah.
Perhaps in future iterations, this will have a sample eyeball.
Yes.
Sitting on top of it.
And this is a personal view, and you'll notice that this menu is different than on the system views, because this is where you manage if you're going to share or assign a view that you have the ability to do that with, a personal view you have the ability to do that with.
Awesome.
Which is very cool. And so now we're going to apply, and then.
Now, I have noticed
much reduced.
I have noticed some weirdness around that. So I did this in our organization in the system we use, and I hid a bunch of stuff that I didn't want to see, and it was great. And then a day or two later, I came back, and probably a caching issue, as we all know, that's a common issue. But I went back to that view and I opened it up, and I was shocked to see a bunch of the things that I was very certain I had already hidden. And so then I went back to the settings, and interestingly, in the settings, they were indeed hidden, but they were showing up. I did a hard refresh, and then they were gone again. So that was weird, but again, probably a caching thing on my end. We see that cause all kinds of problems, right, with this application. It always has. So
yes,
that's probably what that was. But all that to say, as much as I was taken aback, again, knew it was coming and was still pretty shocked to see it go. And but I think they've made some good strides forward, in my opinion. There's some good features. Is it perfect? Probably not, but what even does that even mean? So I like it. I like where they're going with it.
Oh, and something that you brought up, Malcolm, for folks that want to follow the party line and have the advanced find hidden here, but for you advanced find junkies that just can't get away, if you do go under the gear and go to advanced settings, you can get back to the funnel there.
Yeah.
So It is
But-
For now.
still
for now,
For
yeah,
now.
exactly. Who knows how long that's going to last? Yeah, but it is there. But that's a good call out. All right, well, that's a good chat. Some neat new features, cool stuff that they're coming out with. They continue to evolve at a
Yeah.
pace that I don't think anybody can keep up with. Probably a conversation we should have on one of these, right? What are your tips and tricks for keeping up with the evolution that Microsoft throws our way? So maybe we'll do that in an upcoming session. But thank you so much for tuning in. We hope to see you again soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See ya.